Here's your news for November 19, 2019. We're starting off by looking at Monday Night Raw today, as the fans in Boston got a very special treat once the show went off the air. In the ring, Drew McIntyre said that he wasn't afraid of anyone, and even dared to challenge SmackDown's Universal Champion The Fiend to a fight right there. This challenge was quickly accepted by Wyatt, as the pair met inside a steel cage, once again drenched in Wyatt's eerie red light. Though Drew got the early advantage, Wyatt proved to be invulnerable to McIntyre's attacks, and seemingly didn't get hurt by being thrown into the cage. The ending came when The Fiend countered McIntyre's Claymore into a mandible claw, and after hitting Sister Abigail, went to leave the ring, only to return and hit his second Sister Abigail before departing, retaining the Universal Championship in convincing fashion. Posing at the top of the entrance ramp with his title, Wyatt sent a message to every WWE superstar and a lesson that Drew McIntyre won't soon forget. With Survivor Series being just days away, the battle for brand supremacy continued, but it feels this time it may have gone too far. During Raw's main event, the company confirmed that nothing will be on the line when Raw, SmackDown, and NXT meet at Survivor Series, similar to last year when Raw dominated SmackDown and nothing came from it. Though the addition of NXT has made for some interesting TV, this week's edition of Raw saw all three brands limp to the finish line with a noticeable lack of star power. You know it's a bad sign when SmackDown sent over Heavy Machinery and the Lucha House Party to lead the Blue brand's latest invasion, and they were later joined by Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, and Cesaro to interrupt a match between Randy Orton and Ricochet against the Viking Raiders. When Raw became overwhelmed, some of NXT's best confronted some of SmackDown's worst, and after Seth Rollins and the OC rushed to aid the Red brand teammates, Raw ended with Triple H daring both brands to invade NXT this Wednesday. Over the years, there have been plenty of great interpromotional moments in WWE, but last night simply wasn't one of them. During a match between Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre, the Game ended the match abruptly and tried to lure the prizefighter back to the Gold brand. Despite Owens showing no interest in returning, this didn't stop Triple H from talking in length about how Owens never wanted to leave, and the main roster never wanted him in the first place. To be fair, it's been an interesting theme of the Game to try and recruit former NXT champions, but Owens didn't have time to accept this offer before the Raw roster stormed the entrance ramp to attack NXT guys. As Owens watched on, the Canadian was blindsided by the Undisputed Era, who shared some words with the Game, though fans didn't hear what Adam Cole had to say. It's been a few months since Owen double-crossed someone, which, given his past, feels like years. Is Team Raw safe this Sunday? Tune in to find out. We've got some CM Punk news next, as the best in the world has shown that just because he's back in wrestling, he's still no stranger to controversy. In a tweet to promote his upcoming appearance on WWE Backstage, Punk claimed no one is safe, and tagged both Vince McMahon and AEW's Tony Khan. A bold move by Punk, Khan would respond to the former champion's claim that no one is safe, comparing it to the recent travel issues WWE superstars faced after the recent Crown Jewel event. A brazen response, especially when you consider that Punk wasn't making fun of either WWE or AEW. Randy Orton got involved next, linking to an article about alleged corruption by Khan's father, Shahid Khan. The Viper's comments that people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones was quickly responded to by Tony Khan, who claimed the allegations were baseless and referenced Orton using the N-word on Twitch earlier this year. Despite teasing joining AEW a few weeks back, it's clear that the Viper doesn't have plans in the new company, and after signing a new 5-year deal with WWE, is ready to fight for the company online. Back to Raw now, and the love triangle between Rusev, Lana, and Lashley took an even weirder twist this week when the ravishing Russian added some legal elements to the feud. Not only did she file for divorce, but Lana also hit her husband with a restraining order, prohibiting Rusev from coming within 90 miles of her. Fans were quick to realize that this order essentially banned Rusev from any WWE events she'd be attending, and it was clearly a botch, as Lana corrected herself saying 90 days. As this too was a botch, Lana eventually said the right line, claiming that Rusev can't come within 90 feet of her in this cringe-inducing promo. With rumors that this feud could last at least until the new year, we can't help but wonder where this bizarre storyline will go between Lashley, Lana, and Rusev. Speaking of the Bulgarian Brute, Rusev may be a part of one of the biggest angles right now, but that doesn't mean he'll be around for much longer. When one fan tweeted their disgust at the storyline, claiming Rusev had made a huge mistake in re-signing, the former US champion was quick to call the fan out for having the wrong info, asking, "Who said I've re-signed?" Rusev is keeping his cards close to his chest, as fans will have to see what happens with the super athlete. Speaking of contracts, we already mentioned that Randy Orton has a new 5-year deal with WWE, but the company had a very interesting way of going about this process. According to Fightful Select, Orton's contract was held up for months, with negotiations starting back in spring but kept being pushed back. That same report also said Orton's contract discussions was not a high priority for the company, perhaps because they expected the 17-year veteran with 13 World Championships and 2 Royal Rumble wins to stay loyal. During these negotiations, Orton had fun teasing joining AEW, but the concern backstage was that if WWE were willing to push back meetings on a megastar like Orton, they'd do it to anyone. Ultimately, things all worked out as Orton is officially with WWE until at least 2024, and fans shouldn't expect the Legend Killer anywhere else. Back to Raw now, and Becky Lynch finally got herself some action after issuing an open challenge. While the man was looking for a fight, it was the Iconics who answered, as the Australian pair were still fuming from being left off the Raw Women's Survivor Series team. All this frustration didn't mean much though, as after Lynch was joined by Charlotte Flair, the 2 WrestleMania main event stars defeated the Iconics in minutes, who suffered an even worse fate after the bell. As the Iconics were reeling, the pair were easy prey for NXT's Shayna Baszler, Jessamyn Duke, and Marina Shafir, who also beat down on Flair and Lynch when they returned to the ring. When Baszler and her crew bounced, the trio were able to escape thanks to some local Boston security getting in the way of Flair and Lynch, but the man responded with punching the security man square in his jaw. This epic punch was noted by Nia Jax, who fans will remember put an end to Lynch's Survivor Series plans last year with a similar punch, and commented about the attack on Twitter. Jax, who is still out after double knee surgery, is expected back in the first quarter of 2020, so it's good to see she's keeping track of current WWE events. We're heading back in time to January last year now, as then WWE Cruiserweight Champion Enzo Amore was publicly fired from the company. Accused of sexual assault that was dropped due to insufficient evidence, the company said the reason for Amore's firing was that he didn't make the company aware of the allegations, ahead of them going public. Enzo, who maintains that he didn't know about the accusations until they went public, spoke to Hannibal TV recently, where he spoke about his departure. When asked if he's considered any legal response to WWE's actions, the Certified G said, "Absolutely not have I ever considered a lawsuit. You have to understand the gratitude that I have for the opportunity I was given, and when you join the mob, you don't talk about the mob, man. I did nothing wrong. The world knows it, the police report says it, you fired me based on a tweet, so here's me firing back. Now I'm not gonna sit down and be no bitch about my brand and what it is that I bring to the table as a pro wrestler. At the same time, I'll play the game. It's a game, man. It's pro wrestling. It's a work. It's not real life." Despite his departure, Amore hasn't been forgotten by WWE, as the former Cruiserweight champion made a spectacle of himself at the 2018 Survivor Series event and discussed rumors of a possible return to WWE. Enzo said that those rumors were being started by WWE and went on to explain, saying, "I didn't start any rumors, let's just be clear about that. I do have confirmation that it was not obviously me, it was someone in their organization. So my phone's been ringing. I'm not saying it's WWE. I'm not saying it's the other organizations. I'm just saying that I'm a free agent in the pro wrestling world." The former 205 Live star will be performing at the world-famous Comedy Store on November 23rd, and while we can never rule out a WWE return, it seems he's having plenty of fun on the indies. From one cruiserweight to another now, as Umberto Carrillo will receive one more shot at AJ Styles on next week's Raw. On the November 25th edition of the show, Styles will defend his US title against Carrillo, who got a ringing endorsement from Rey Mysterio, who hopes the 24-year-old wins. This isn't the first time Carrillo has competed for the Star-Spangled Strap, as he unsuccessfully challenged AJ at Crown Jewel, but is hoping this time will be much different. Before Styles can focus on Carrillo, though, he needs to look to Survivor Series, as he will take on SmackDown's Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura and NXT's North American Champion Roderick Strong in non-title action. Also at Survivor Series, Rey Mysterio will take on WWE Champion Brock Lesnar, and the match has had a special stipulation added. After Mysterio used a pipe on the leg of Lesnar on a recent edition of Raw, Paul Heyman confirmed that the match will now be a no disqualification match this Sunday. As if Lesnar wasn't already dangerous enough, giving him a weapon only makes the beast more deadly, but it seems Mysterio with the steel pipe was able to cut him down to size. Who will walk away from Survivor Series as the WWE Champion? Only time will tell. And we're finishing today with a recap of the Raw results we haven't covered yet, as Umberto Carrillo was able to build momentum to next week's title match with a win over AJ's good brother Carl Anderson. Bobby Lashley continued his dominance by defeating No Way Jose in mere minutes, while Eric Rowan also made work of local competitor Alex Malcolm. With his spot as Raw's team captain on the line, Seth Rollins was able to get a DQ win over Andrade thanks to the odd interference of the Lucha House Party, who struck the Architect at the right moment to secure him the win. In Cruiserweight action next, Buddy Murphy was able to topple Akira Tozawa, but this wasn't the end of the night for the Australian superstar. Post-match, Murphy would goad Aleister Black for a fight, and while the Dutchman is already on the hunt for new foes, it seems their future match will happen on his terms. In the first ever singles meeting between the two, Natalya and Asuka unsurprisingly put on a great match, but it was the Kabuki Warrior who got the win thanks to her partner Kairi Sane. It was some sweet payback for the Empress, who lost on last week's show to the Canadian, as Asuka proved that while she can stomach losing twice is a different story. In the main event, the Viking Raiders were supposed to defend the Raw tag titles against Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, but when they were ambushed by the AOP, the WWE's resident figure collectors were replaced by Randy Orton and Ricochet. This match, however, didn't last long either, as NXT and SmackDown quickly caused the DQ, as it's clear the road to Survivor Series is nearly at an end.